Hello Geminis, this is a reading for June 15th through June 30th of 2021. If you know your sun, moon, and rising signs, be sure to check out all those videos for a more well-rounded reading for this end of the month of June. Other than that, let's go ahead and begin. First off, we have the 10 of Swords. So I feel like you are beginning this portion of the month with a huge shift in perspective that's been forced upon you, and it's felt quite like you've been stabbed in the back, quite literally, as you see in the figure here. And I feel like this is something you have already been aware of, or you knew you had an intuitive feeling of this was coming, or you were aware of its existence, but it doesn't make it any less painful when it came true, when you experienced it, when you went through this particular situation or experience that you have encountered. You're still feeling the pain of being stabbed in the back. And communication is something that's coming up quite a bit as I'm sitting here speaking about this. So something that was communicated or miscommunicated is really making you feel like you have been betrayed. You know that you can go on. You feel like, as you can see in this particular picture, in this imagery, he's not down. He's not dead. He's still kind of really working through it, trying to make the best of the situation, to keep moving forward, keep fighting, at the very least fighting against the situation of having the swords in his back. So it's something that you already know, it's something that you can continue to move from, and you're going to move away from as a result of the situation, as a result of the events that led to this experience. You are fighting and struggling to move yourself out of that situation, to move yourself away from this experience so that you can make this as part of your history. But it doesn't make it any less painful. It doesn't make it any less of a struggle. And that's what you're facing right now, the struggle of it all, the struggle of the experience, the pain, and the process of moving forward, moving out, and moving away. But it's going to present a moment of transformation for you, a moment of awakening, and a moment of newness, a freshness that's going to be on the horizon, that you're working towards. And you know that's one of the reasons why you keep fighting and you keep pushing forward, because you've seen what's on the horizon. You've seen what's waiting for you at the new dawn. Once you get past this, once you get through this, you know that there's growth and there's opportunity waiting for you once you get through this. And so that is something that you are kind of holding on to give you strength and courage as you continue to move forward. But there is in the horizon a new dawn, a new awakening, and this work comes to mind. I'm hearing work, so there seems to be really connected with your job or your field, or career as you have right now, or you have experienced up to this point. But there's something in the horizon, and this event is basically allowing you to see the new dawning of this from a perspective that you most likely wouldn't have seen had this not finally come into full fruition. Like I said, I get the sense that this is something that you were very aware was on the horizon. You were very aware of its existence, but you were trying to work your way around it without getting caught up in the battle of it. But it doesn't matter how much you worked around or tried to stay out of it. You got included whether you wanted to or not. But as a result of it, there's something on the horizon, a new dawn, and you were able to see this as a result of this experience. And you're going to be able to take a new step. Actions are going to be available to you that you are not so much that the actions were not going to be available to you, but your readiness to grab onto it is what's going to be the result of it. In the process of moving through this, though, however, we have the Four of Cups, which is really giving us a feeling of that remorseful nostalgia, kind of looking at what was. And it's not so much a bad thing as much as sort of sitting down and kind of writing out the pros and cons and really putting the scenario into perspective, being able to look at it, sort of distance yourself from external voices and other people's opinions, and be able to sit with yourself, by yourself, to sort of muddle through all of the information that's at your disposal, and be able to sort of really look at it and work through your own thoughts by yourself and see this and kind of mourn it as you need to mourn it. It's the sort of mourning that you need for closure so that you can move on. But this is going to be resolved whenever you get to that point where you experience that new dawn, or that you see the dawning in the horizon and you know that you're going to be making some changes. They're going to be big changes. But as a result of the big changes that's going to be at your disposal, you are definitely going to have an experience of reflecting. And it's, like I said, there's a bit of a mournfulness to this sense of reflecting, but it's the sort of mourning that you need to go through and experience, because it allows you to meet closure on an internal perspective, and that's all going to help you and assist you with the moving forward. And this is validated with the Eight of Wands, which is next, which is the card of movement, the card of things happening, the card of action. And generally it's fast action, but with this particular image in this deck that I've chosen for the reading today, it's not so much the wands are moving in your direction as much in this imagery. This person has had the wands fall near them, and they were able to grab one and pull it out of the ground or pull it in the air. It doesn't matter if it was something that was stationary from them, in front of them, or if it was falling and this was the one they grabbed. The truth of this card is that things are falling into place, and you're going to be able to reach out and grab the one that you want. And that sort of action and moving forward, it's all coming together as we move towards the end of June. And this, like I said, this feels very much at the beginning of this reading, like I said, June 15th. And this feels more towards the end of the reading, the end of the month. For some of you, it's the end of the first week. That is from the 15th to the 30th. And for others of you, it's that second week, but it's further on. There's a time span from this experience to this experience. It just depends on you and your personal journey, if it's going to be within the week or if it's going to be more towards the 2 weeks. But either way, there's a timeline from this experience to this experience when you get to that point where you're going to be reaching up and grabbing for that which is going to be at your disposal. But as a result of it, we do have this experience and this opportunity for celebration, and just being able to connect with people in a way that you haven't in a while. I get a sense that you have been isolating yourself, and it's the sort of isolation that's separate from the experience that we have all been going through. It's a personal, very individual isolation that you have sort of taken on yourself. And if you're aware of tarot in general, I feel that this is the sort of isolation that's more with the Hermit card. It's sort of a self-isolation. You were going through something and experiencing something that made you feel like you had to kind of disconnect to a certain degree with people that you usually connect on a deeper level with, no matter the circumstances. So that sort of self-isolation that you have been participating in by personal choice on a personal individual level is going to be coming to a close. And I feel like that isolation is the events that were kind of leading up to this, or was just something that you needed to do for self-preservation because of the awareness of this event that I spoke of at the beginning of the video. But as you transition, and things come to a close and the new dawning, and you experience that closure, and you finally feel like you have reached a point of being able to make a conclusive decision and move forward in the action you've been waiting for. As it all sort of comes together, you're going to reach that point where you can celebrate, and the people who've always been there to support you will be celebrating with you. They're going to be ready and available for when you come out of isolation, and to be able to, be not only just supportive, but celebrate with you. Finally, we have authenticity and grounding. And I feel like this is really speaking about how there is definitely a need for you to make sure that you are staying true to yourself. When you are going through that experience of kind of being reminiscent of what was, and preparing for yourself to move forward, make sure that you're staying true to the new version of yourself, the person who's transitioning from this point to this point. Make sure you're authentic to the new version of yourself, not to what was. And to do that, the best approach is going to be finding time to be able to ground yourself. Make sure that you are doing what you need to stay grounded within yourself, to stay connected to yourself on an individual level, but also your higher self, your spiritual self. And then finally, we have, when I lean toward love, I am led. And I think that this is more on the concept of self-love, and that that connection with self that we have that allows us to connect with our intuition, and that intuition which leads us to better places, to more productive, and to places that are constantly giving back to us, that we are constantly feeding ourselves, nurturing ourselves, and we're creating scenarios that give us abundance, that always flows back to us in a nurturing, positive way. All right, I hope the rest of June proves to be wonderful for you. I hope this reading has provided you with everything that you were hoping for and more. I do offer personalized individual readings. There are links in the box below if you want to check that out. Otherwise, hopefully the rest of June proves to be beautiful for you, and hopefully I'll see you in a future video. Bye.